What in the world? It's March 12th, 2021. The Sharks don't allow goals. They score 6. What in the world? We're going to talk about this crazy game and win. I'm shocked. Let's just do this right now. Teal Town After Dark. Chomp on in. Good evening, everyone. It is March 12th, 2021. The San Jose Sharks go to Disneyland and have a grand old time. I mean, they had a grand old time. 6-0 the final. Let's talk about it right now. This is Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks post game. We do this after every single game, home and away. And if you want to be part of the show, here's how you do it. Chat with us and fellow Sharks fans on the page or the app. And of course, follow us on the social. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, SoundCloud, Reddit, and of course our Discord. And find everything at tealtownusa.com. That's right. It's Erik and Erik, and we're probably going to be talking a little bit about an Erik on the ice as well. Actually, more EK. I think that's going to look really good tonight. Erik, Landi, good evening, sir. How you doing, bud?
Hey, this season was always going to be let's take a game-by-game approach. We can't get too excited because it was Anaheim. But that being said, you take the victories where you can get them, and it was a good bonding moment for the team. That's for sure.
But dude, we got to get excited. The Sharks are on a winning streak. They have won 2 in a row for the first time this season. My goodness, come on, Landi. Let's get excited here. We're going to get all hunky-dory. Come on. Plan the parade route. We're just going to start at Santa Clara Street and work our way down to the Children's Discovery Museum with a detour at Lafix, and then, we'll head it over there. Heck yeah. Let's go.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, it's just... I don't know. I actually, honestly, I just feel kind of weird because I'm just so used to talking about losses, this is almost like a foreign experience to me,
We haven't had a 2-game winning streak since, February of 2020? I mean, it's just craziness, I tell you. But it's great to see. It's nice to see. And it happens on an interesting day. That's for darn sure. With everything that's gone on with what Doug Wilson said earlier today, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But and I see a lot of people giving the love for the lettuce, Landi. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, I know we've seen the man bun for a while, but I don't know. That flow is kind of I know it was there before Brody, but hey, it's looking good, my friend.
Yes, I know. I'm channeling my inner Nordic right now.
All right, let's get into this. The Sharks begin a 4-game road trip visiting Anaheim and then Las Vegas. Man, if this was a road trip that I could go to, I would be I'd be down. Absolutely. So first period,
you guys could come see me, get some tacos, and then we go to Vegas and have a fun time, and then continue onward. But of course, we're almost at the end of this, I think. But knock on wood, we just gotta have the therapeutics and the vaccines and stuff keep rolling out, and we can get to our favorite team again.
Absolutely. So Dubnyk makes his 3rd straight start. He looks more and more confident tonight. In fact, even as we're getting some comments in the chat now, Dubnyk.
I think the majority of them were about my hair. I'm trying to channel my inner Mike Ricci. Okay, guys. All right, that's who I'm going for. So, Yeah, he had a face only a mother could love, and I don't know about me, but I'm just gonna go. I'll just keep it there with the hair.
Bob Bugner saying Dubnyk looked really good, real confident tonight. You could feel on the bench. Then you have Gabriel throwing the body. And of course Tomas Hertl. And I love when AG does it like this because I could totally get the Hertl out of it. It's nice to be back after 2 weeks of doing nothing. It's nice to play with Tima, and the power play will look good, and this feel like a good game. Yeah, I mean that. I think that's the best one from Hertl, of course. But getting into it, the Sharks took advantage of their power plays, and they haven't been coming as frequent as I thought they would be. Silverberg takes that hooking call, but then Tomas Hertl going with the bank shot, off the post, off Gibson and in to make it 1-0. And I thought they had great chances on the power play tonight all around.
I mean, I think we were talking about it off air on just the areas that we wanted to cover tonight, and you highlight that power play. Yeah, it was like set up like a PowerPoint, right? Bing, bing, bang, boom. But no, where I was going with that was that tonight it was one of those nights where the power play gave you the momentum. After each power play, they looked positively energized. After the power play, it looked like they were um, possessive. I think that they were looking very, very strong on the half boards, and it just seemed like they were moving the puck with authority.
Right.
And that has been something that we have not, that we haven't seen, and so it was good to see that the power play, kind of got out of its funk. So. I thought that first unit got some really good looks, and then the second unit came in and really picked up where that was. And I think that that'll be a consistent theme tonight, is just that each line contributed, each defense pair contributed on top of the next, and it was very much a building block kind of game.
Yeah.
And, again, we temper it with it being Anaheim. Anaheim is going through, their phase of their reset, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. So, you have to take all of the results relative to where everybody is in the standings. But they played like a dominant team needs to play over a lesser opponent. And I think that had been something that we had questioned because of the, I guess, inability to really establish momentum, especially in the first part of the year.
Yeah.
And so again, if the Sharks are going to work their way back, you have to do it game by game. This is a very good step in the right direction, and hopefully it gets some guys some more confidence, especially the guys coming back from injury and COVID.
Yeah, and you hit it on the head with Hertl coming back from being dealing with COVID, and in fact his whole family ended up having it, and glad that they're all doing okay now. Timo Meier coming back from an upper body injury. And then, as we were talking about before we went on the air, that line with Matt Nieto, because Balsters is out undisclosed injury. I mean,
lower body, I believe, is what Buki said this morning.
Okay. I mean, that line of Hertl, Meier, and the Long Beach native, looked pretty good tonight. They looked fresh too.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've got the big bodies of Hertl and Timo, and they like to throw their weight around, very much puck possession kind of players.
Right.
But then you add the speed of Matt Nieto, who has always been very adept at picking the puck up. He's always seems to be one of those guys that is always a takeaway here or a block there. And a very strong defensive player, very speedy. So it's good to have him kind of be your puck retrieval, your kind of first forechecker in, and then you kind of drop it down to your two elephants, that ride kind of shotgun with you. And then you park your butt in front of the net and you look for the loose change. And that's what that line did all night. Hertl really possessing the puck through the slot, with a lot of authority. I thought Timo was very quick to the puck. I thought his back checks were decent tonight. His 200 overall 200-foot game looked healthy. He looked healthy. And yeah, I mean, he was rewarded with an assist on that power play because, again, the puck retrieval and just the head on the swivel, accepting passes. Another thing, Eric, I wanted to bring up was just the passes through the neutral zone looked very crisp tonight. I didn't see pucks exploding on people's sticks. I didn't see rushed passes. I just saw a very methodical team out there tonight, which it's like I'm thinking to myself, am I watching the right team? I mean, this team looks like has some cohesion. Like, it looks like they've played together for a little bit. So, yeah. And then of course, we talk about I think that fight right it was in the first period.
Yep. It was the first period, a little after halfway through the period, Gabriel and Delorier, and we'll show the picture again of how it went down. But I mean, a good tussle. I mean, I think Delorier definitely got some punches in early, which is where Gabriel was bleeding. Delorier, I think, kind of got Gabriel got Delorier to have his visor hit him in the nose. Both were bleeding pretty well. But, and by the way, welcome. If you haven't joined us already, welcome. Feel free to join us in the chat. But, I mean, that face, I mean, come on. Let's go. And he was pumping up his teammates big time. And, he didn't quite pick his spots, I think, when he dropped the gloves, the first couple of times. And, he played like a little over 10 minutes tonight. And I thought he besides the fight, he actually had a little bit of a presence.
Yeah, no, I I was kind of looking through the chat and Laurel's asking if Getzlaf was a former Shark. No, he was a Brian Burke draftee back in the day for the Ducks. So yeah, he goes back a while. But yeah, going back to. Could you repeat the question, Eric? I'm sorry.
I was just saying that Gabriel had a
Gabriel.
Yeah, he besides the fight, I thought he kind of pressured some of the spots where, I think Handemark had a chance early on in the second period where they were getting chances off of those mistakes because of the big body.
And I think the one thing that we saw, I mean, in that picture, I think it is just captured perfectly. But he's dragging these guys into the deep end because this team is notorious for playing soft until they get somebody to rev their engine, so to speak. And love him or hate him, Raffi Torres was that guy that always dragged that team kicking and screaming into a fist fight.
Right.
And the same thing with John Scott. I mean, when somebody was man enough to face him and John Scott would kind of patrol the ice out there, mind you, we can talk about the effectiveness of him, but just saying another one of those types of players where it's like you got to rally around these kind of like big teddy bear guys. You hate to use like the cliche like Goon, right? I mean, the movie Goon, but I mean, it in hockey locker rooms, it's kind of like that. I mean, it's kind of they still have a large place in the game, especially amongst players for the more physical types. They tend to always say that. I mean, all the star players, whether it be from Gretzky or Lemieux or any of them, they'll tell you that they had a riding shotgun with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
That had a big tough guy like a Marty McSorley or what have you. So is there still a place for them in the game today? It's debatable, but you can't help but see how he makes them a little bit more physical.
Right. I mean, it gives them the support of everything that they need to have the physicality. And like somebody said in the chat, and I'll say it, David H., Gabriel also means Kane doesn't have to fight, which keeps him on the ice so he can do what he does. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing. Yes, Kane can be that tough guy as well, but you can also have a guy that's doing those physicality things, and it is like our Ryan Reeves of sorts, and there's been talk about in the chat, Rafi Torres could play hockey too. Yeah, I mean, come, usually when those teams don't have the quote unquote goon, it's not going to be successful. I mean, we saw that with Mike Brown, and then he was eventually let go. And Chris, you just hit it on the head. Here, the numbers show teams with goons win less. So the numbers over the last decades, plus have teams at the top of the standings and winning the cup with few goons in sight. You really can't play them in tight situations. You're going to end up overtaxing your offensive talent. But to have that physicality in the way and having that scoring touch would be huge.
Yeah, I mean, if Gabriel can at least just park himself in the net and play competently, in his own end, then I think he's a net positive because he also brings that physicality. Chris is exactly right. You can't just be a pure, face masher anymore because you'll get skated right over. I mean, somebody will just outskate you, and then what's the point? So you have to have guys that can play the game, but that are not afraid to kind of mix it up. You've got to have both the speed, but you also have to have the will to fight, right? You have to have the will to stand up and take some lumps and take some bruises for your team, to kind of at least give the players a rallying point, for anything. And I know, again, people will like to argue the intangibles and all that, but again, I don't. The atmosphere or the culture amongst players, I think, there's still room in their in their minds for somebody that can dish it out.
I mean, and the thing is that some people would say the Sharks are a little soft, that they can be thrown around, and this kind of adds that piece to be like, hey, not everybody can be thrown around like that, and that's a huge one. Speaking of,
but you just have to make sure that it's not just Gabriel alone. Right. Everybody has to really have that mindset of we're going to stick up for each other, because again, if it's just Gabriel doing it and he's not really influencing the momentum, then what is the point, right? So it's got to be buy-in from the entire team, to really play for each other and really try to muster whatever kind of team spirit that they can.
Right. No, and Kevin kind of hits it on here. The Sharks aren't a top team, so what Gabriel brings is some edge that hopefully rubs on the rest of the team for when they eventually do become a good team again after he's gone. Yeah, I mean, you can really try to get that confidence, get that, I want to say, exuberance and excitement going, but just get the adrenaline going would be huge in my mind. And those little things will lead to little things. And Dubnyk saying, post game, we played hard the right way. It was a fun one to be part of. Dubnyk had a huge save, and honestly, I would say it was the save of the game, where he had to go cross crease and stone one of the Ducks, and that eventually led to the 2-on-1 where Burns feeds Evander Kane for his 10th of the year to make it 2-0, like about less than a minute into the second period. I thought Dubnyk played outstanding. I mean, obviously he got the shutout. I mean, my gosh, a Sharks goaltender. How many people have been making fun of the Sharks and their net minding? Dubnyk with a 34 save shutout.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right in targeting the goaltending as a place for where the Sharks rallied behind, because after that big save, they come back on the rush and they pot a goal in. And this is what happens when you've got the guys maybe clutching the stick a little bit less, because they understand that if they make a mistake, that it's not going to just end up in the goal. right? There's a different way that the guys play when they feel secure in the back of the net.
Yep.
And, unfortunately, Jones has not really gotten a lot of traction on this season. And I think the team plays differently in front of him than when they do with Dubnyk. I think the team kind of reflects the goaltender. He kind of sets the tone, right? Dubnyk's kind of more of a fiery guy, kind of a guy who wants to, make a little bit more of an acrobatic save. Maybe, you cannot blame him on the effort any night in goal.
Right.
So, he kind of leaves it all out there, and the team tends to respond a little bit better than that, better to that than with Jones, who, his body language can suffer at times, who seems to have some mental mistakes here and there. And I think that also reflects on the play in front of him as well. So goaltending was, I think, if anything, you could give Doobie an assist there on that second goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. You add on to, you're not going to give him, a tertiary assist per se, but I mean, that's what led to it. And when you have good goaltending to back you up, it gives you that confidence for you to do other things. And in this case, get that second goal. And that was essentially putting this game away, honestly. So that made it 2-0. The second period, I thought it went back and forth. I thought the Ducks had a really good second period, and I thought they were going to take over this game per se, but they were stopped by Devan Dubnyk. And in the third period, holy heck, the offense just exploded. I mean, the Sharks get another power play, and Erik Karlsson, yes, the Erik Karlsson with a bomb of a shot, and honestly, Gibson had, and I think I tweeted this out when I was doing the GIF for it, had more traffic in front of them than I-5 in downtown LA. I mean, there's no way I think you could really give Gibson a chance with that shot. Just a big old clapper to make it 3-0. And Karlsson, all right. You even showed some speed to hit the icing call, earlier tonight. I think he really is starting to, fingers crossed, starting to finally show, why he's $11.5 million richer every year.
Yeah. I think he has. I think that he has definitely looked better. I think that I still question the frequency at which he shoots the puck, because I think he can sometimes defer a little bit too much. But tonight he was definitely putting the puck on the net, and that slapper is very, very good. And so when he shoots the puck, when he's able to rush the puck up, and when he's able to utilize his best asset being his speed, he's a very effective player. The thing that I've always had my qualms with Erik is that he plays when he wants to play, and it's playing on his timetable, and that can be very frustrating at times. So 569 with the super chat from Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Nice, Chris. Nice. Super chat from Chris. JWS, miss you, bud. Hope you're doing well. I'm just happy this team has been fun to watch more often than not the last 10 to 15 games. And he's true.
They're in it. I mean, they're you can't say that there haven't been in it. I mean, I think one of the games with Vegas, I was very dejected, but besides that, let's get back to 500, and once we get back to 500, we can start to climb the mountain that is the standing. So like I said, you just got to take it game by game, and of course, up to that point, Banker has got 2 assists on the night, and Bernsey and Couture also chipping in with assists as well, and Bernsey having a 2 assist night tonight. I thought the whole back end played well. I mean, I saw Nikki Kanizhov making some really, really good plays and making some good some good rushes up the ice and showing some sneaky speed. He did take a big hit, and I was a little worried for the kid because it looked like he got, his bell rung a little. But he popped right back up, and yeah, I thought that the back end played very, very well tonight. I thought that they were transitioning, they were fluid, and again, just being very deliberate with where they put the puck.
Yeah, and they really showed their way around everything. The defense played well. I mean, I thought Canadian had maybe one or two like, watch out, but the team helped him out, and that's what I think is key to see is that the team helped him out, get the puck out, help him out, and everything. So, really good
I
to
mean,
see.
and yeah, and Radim Shimmick too. I think that's another guy that we need to highlight who has definitely picked his game
Whoa,
back up.
Fangio! Whoa, Fangio! Hey, now. Okay. I'm not sure. It says 65. I don't know what SEK is. Somebody help us out here. But hey, Dex, I feel you, bro. Hope for the same result tomorrow. Fangio, thank you so much. Appreciate it, big time. Someone get the conversion rate going for the SEK.
Yeah, and not only that, but you know what I mean. Like all of your guys' donations help pay for this show. I mean, look, this year we've got my setup, which is now so much better, and we're not talking about my laundry anymore, and that was all due to your guys' donations, and helping us out and really distributing gear amongst the team. So we really appreciate it. It all goes to a great place.
Yes.
And not only that, but you can hit us up on the Venmo too at Teal Town USA. Because you don't have to worry about the Google fees.
Right, and it goes to help support your favorite portion of the show. So Fangio, 65 Swedish krona. So Fangio, are you checking us out in Sweden, my friend? I would love to hear where you're at. In fact, let's get the roll call. I know that it's not Twitter mission, but I'd love to hear where everybody's coming in from tonight here as we quickly recap the third period here. So Carlson gets a second on the power play, makes it 3-0. Timo, was it me or did it kind of deflect? Did he have like a little bit of a shot there that kind of was like going, a little bit of a fan that kind of fooled Gibson there to make it 4-0?
Yeah, I'm just pulling up the goal now, and I think it was kind of one of those like fluttery type goals, but we'll see here. So we've got so we've got the Ducks entering into the zone.
Mm-hmm.
They put a shot wide, okay, and then you've got nice pass out by Meyer. Then Timo takes it back. Yeah, and it almost seems like maybe it came off that Duck, the Duck's stick that was trying to put it in the lane. And I've always been one that if you're going to try and block a shot, you've got to make sure that you block it. Either that or you just let your goaltender take care of it because, you're going to get weird bounces. I mean, it seemed like all of the weird bounces in the beginning of the year were going against us. And now it seems like, once they've put the work in it, and one of my patented phrases that I've always say is you make your own luck.
Yep.
And so that was one of those kind of goals tonight. And it was good for Timo because, like I said, coming back off of the injury, a couple game layoff, it was good to see that he didn't look like he missed a step.
And of course it's Anaheim, so it's Timo time in Anaheim, of course. But let me do this really quick, Landy. Fangio, yeah, he's in Sweden. It's 7:14 in the morning over there. So Fangio, good to see you. Let's kind of go through these really quick, and people are going to kill me for this. Chula Vista, that is where Craig Cox was from, the guy who scored the first goal in Sharks franchise history. Oh boy,
That's where my girlfriend's from.
Nice. From Finland, Mogan Bomaru. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not, but from Finland. So we have Finn from South Florida. Landi, Jerry. Chris, all from San Diego as well. Love to see it. Love to see it. Redding, California for Laurel. I know Roe is out here in the Bay Area, so appreciate you guys reaching out worldwide, and we appreciate you doing it. If you haven't already, not like I don't need to tell you this over and over again, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That'll notify you when we go on the air live after every single Sharks game. So appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Totally appreciate that. But let's finish this up here. And Kevin Labanc's goal. Okay. Evander came with a beautiful move to get by the defenseman. Then he feeds it over to Labanc, puts Gibson way out of position. I mean, again, it was like the vault was open for him to just put his stimulus check in, for crying out loud, for the banker.
Yeah, you know what? I want to call this like the swagger line, because this line has got the combination of snappy dressing with Evander and Labanc. You got, Couture, who's just clutch and just exudes that swag. So let's call it the swagger line. And boy howdy. I mean, you cannot talk more about how well Kevin Labanc responded to that benching.
Big time.
I thought, you didn't embarrass the player because it was only for one period, right? You said, hey, look, like this is not acceptable, the way in which you're playing. You need to be held responsible and accountable. And Kevin even came out and said, I didn't deserve to play the way that I was playing. So you have the player understanding and buying into it. Bob Boughner pushed the right button tonight. And then to trust him to put him back into his position, and he rewarded him with a hell of a performance tonight. I mean, he's got two assists and a goal, 3-point night after a benching in the third period. Man, you talk about a guy who coming into this year had some real doubts about. I think that we all had some doubts about where he was going to go, what his commitment level was after that last season, but to see him really grow in front of our eyes tonight, that was kudos to him, and I hope that he continues, because my goodness, when he's got his hard hat on, he's a hell of a player.
Absolutely.
He's a hell of a player. But it's he plays when he wants to play, and he plays 200 feet when he wants to play 200 feet. And if you're going to play Sharks hockey, it's a 200-foot game, and you got to be buying into it every night.
Yeah.
So again, it was good to see the player respond positively to a disciplinary action. He didn't cry about it, didn't whine about it. He took his medicine, came back stronger.
Yep.
Really, really like that.
1 goal, 2 assists on the night. With some great shots all around. 3 shots on goal on the night. Definitely helped out. His whole line looked good on the evening. Him and Evander Kane, and throwing Couture. Couture had a good game. I mean, he doesn't show up too much, but he had just 1 assist. But I thought he played well. So I thought overall everybody got in the scoring, including congratulations to Frederick Handemark, his first NHL goal. It's unassisted. He seals the puck.
Hey,
and
another one for Danish hockey. Good to see him, representing our Scandinavian brethren.
Yeah.
They might be Danes, but that's okay.
Absolutely.
Just for the person that's in Finland and for Sweden, my family's from Norge and they're from Bergen, so yeah, part of my Scandinavianness. So anyhow, I think it was, I mean, honestly, all effort on that play, and that's the kind of thing that's going to keep you in the lineup. That's the kind of effort that's going to keep you in the lineup.
And that's the effort the Sharks need to move on and do things that they're used to be doing, So that pretty much is it. The Sharks get the win. Dubnyk gets a 34 save shutout. Win 6-0. Oh my goodness. So
Kevin calling me out. Did I screw that up? Kevin, I thought he was Danish.
Kevin.
Handemark, Swedish. He's from board or oof. Let's
Easy
see
for
here.
you to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh, Sweden. Yeah. Okay. My bad. You know what? Correction. He's Swedish. Never mind.
so
I
we
guess I was thinking maybe True and Blickfield. No, True and somebody else is Danish. I gotta find
I
this
think it was
now.
Trim Lookfield that you were thinking on.
Yeah.
PJ John Swenson, good friend of mine. Hannah Mark on pace for 42 goals. I love it. I'm down with it. Dubnyk on if he's playing his best hockey right now. Quote: I think I'm getting there. You like to have the swagger. You like to have that swagger going on. Hurdle on Dubnyk's early second period save on Max Comtois. You need to you need this from your goalie, and he makes an unbelievable save. And it was sure a game changer. And again, like I said, Landy, that's where you need to get those big saves from your goaltender and your defense to help out. Yeah, I think Burns kind of got burned on that play, but then he makes up for it the other way to get that goal. Huge, huge, huge one. And that's where this
Yeah. I
team needs to
mean,
come together.
yeah, the shot in the arm with the goaltending. I mean, look at what they can do with. I mean, tonight was I think an above average game, but if they just got average goaltending, where would this team be, right? I think that this team would be hovering a little bit closer to at least being 500, but hovering a little bit closer than that fourth spot. Um, when the team is able to, like I said, draw on that confidence of the goaltender, things are good. So I'll ask you this because I think it brings up an interesting question.
Oh boy.
Does I mean does this start the usurping of Jones, for the crease? Because I think Doobie bought himself another start, and I wouldn't mind seeing him back to back.
Oh, man, that's tough because you're gonna want to play him the first game in Vegas on Monday night.
True.
But I mean, do you give Jones a chance against Anaheim? Get him the start. Hopefully, he can figure things out and give Dubnyk a rest to maybe go back to back in Vegas. 2 games in 3 nights, or do you just keep going with the hot hand? That's the tough part. And you know, I know there are a lot of people who want Jones to not see the ice anytime soon. I'm almost tempted to go 4 in a row with Jones with 4 in a row with Dubnyk.
I think I err on that side too, because I don't think you want to. Here's the thing: if Jones comes in tomorrow, and let's say it's like a 4-2 type of game where he lets 4 in and just gets this team deflated once again,
Right.
and deflated going into Vegas, I don't think that that's a recipe for success. I think it needs to be Dubnyk. I think he needs to stay in the net to kind of keep this momentum going. And unfortunately for Jones, he's gonna have to have his coming to Jesus moment, so to speak. Goaltending Jesus, because the thing is, Erik, at the beginning of the season, he looked like, okay, maybe the extra time with Adam Francilla was gonna, pan out, and maybe having a little bit more time with Nabokov was gonna help him. But I see a guy who's just regressed again, and you can just say regressed in his play, but you can also say regressed into the net.
Right.
And this is the third season of this. You hate to see it because you've made a contractual obligation to the player.
True.
But
And I don't mean Alex. True. Go on.
yeah, but I don't think you can come back from that again. I don't think you can come back to this fan base with Jones for a fourth year in a row of subpar goaltending and there not be consequences. So I'm kind of more in the buyout or send them to the Kuhre to tune up. I mean, maybe you just do straight buyout, because unfortunately, or at least not even a straight bad, but just like a don't have him report to the team because I know. I mean, you don't want to take away from Melnichuk and from God help me, Eric, with the other goaltender, please.
Cornash. Or
Cornash,
well, his name changed. So Lacey, help me out here because I know that his name kind of changed. It's not Cornash. It's oh gosh, why can't I trigger my inner Nick Nollenberger here? But yeah, I it's tough to say. I mean, you're kind of stuck with him unless DW sweetens the pot for them to grab Jones, or they buy him out.
I mean, but I don't. Who wants to touch that contract?
Exactly.
I mean, who wants to touch that contract and okay, maybe he's a change of scenery kind of guy, where like a Mitch Korn or a the goaltending coach down in Nashville, or those places where goalies that are not necessarily good, but can kind of draw from the structure of the team. Maybe if he goes there, he can find his game again. But I don't know that this team and this organization has the answers for him.
Yeah. And again, it could be something similar to, like, I would say, Alex Smith, who just was dealt a tough hand with the Niners, and then he went to the Chiefs and the Redskins, or excuse me, Washington football team. Excuse me, yikes, my apologies on that one. And had a really good stellar career after that. Darren Stevens with a great fact: Hannah Mark is the third Sharks player in history to score his first NHL goal on Ryan Miller. Oh man, that's funny. It tells you how long Ryan Miller's been around the league. So,
well, yeah, I remember when Ryan Miller was playing in Buffalo and stymieing the Sharks. So, you remember they had that whole, like, I think it was like a 10-year span where they hadn't won in Buffalo or something like that.
Up until the debut of Joe Thornton in Teal.
Yeah. So I mean, he's definitely seen some hockey in front of him, and I don't know, it's probably the last year of his career. So
right.
It'd be interesting to see when he wraps it up where he ends up. And definitely USA goal, he's definitely very high up there.
Right. So Kevin Lacey says cohesion. Hopefully I'm getting close to that, but cohesion. Not to get confused with Kozamore from Sacramento Kings pregame live on NBC.
Is that
Sports.
one Jim?
That's one Jim Kozamore. Yep. So the Sharks won this one 6-0 over the Anaheim Ducks. They will play tomorrow, same time from in Anaheim. And man, this would be a huge one if they can jump back into it. So, I know we said 40 likes. Let's go 30. Let's go 36 and get that Venmo donation. Of course, appreciate it out there, joining us tonight, seeing familiar faces and new faces in here. Appreciate you all here. That's why we want to teal together for you. But while we see if we can hit that reach.
Yeah, let's have that discussion about the Doug Wilson conference call today, because I think that there were some interesting tidbits in there.
Yeah, so it's a reset. It is not a rebuild. It is not a retool. It's a reset, which I think a lot of people are going to focus on. And it's about time that we got something. And I think Doug has been frustrated with everything that's gone on with his team. But Shang Pang from San Jose Hockey Now, we appreciate you kind of live tweeting it a little bit on here. It's just one of those things that you would hope You would hope that with things coming around. The funny thing is, and John, thank you for the super chat, $5. I like the cool shark backdrop.
Which one?
Well, he said app Huck guy, and I'm like,
Oh.
The funny thing is I had my camera lower, so I guess nobody saw it. But I've had this the whole time. That's the funny thing. So I'll make sure to elevate my camera next. Keep that going for it. And then of course Josh D's, I will fight you, Curtis Gabriel, probably.
Yeah.
But we were looking at what we were Pang on here.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh, did we get the
Oh, we did. We got
donation?
to 38, and Jerk, of course, comes back.
And we got 2 donations.
And 2 donations. So hashtag Jerk, I'm sorry. You're gonna get to that. Another thing too is the game that was scheduled for February 25th when Hurdle got the Rona, as AJ would say, has been rescheduled for April 23rd. Landy, you know when Game 7 was a couple of years ago?
Would it be April 23rd?
Yes. I'm just saying, it's definitely, interesting to see how that would work out.
I know that Steve Hatchapetros in the NHL operations office just loves trolling us. I know it. I know just somewhere deep inside there's an inner Kings fan or an inner Vegas fan that had his heart broken or something because, oh my God, the vendettas on this team with scheduling, it's never ending.
Seriously. The elephant saying Landy's is better. Yeah, I'll give him that, for sure. So let's get to some of these comments now that I got it pulled up here. DW declares, I'm not going to be trading our first round pick at the trade deadline. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of a given considering that, that might be a very valuable asset, especially if you don't qualify for the playoffs right now. And then he went on to say that the team's approach changed around the draft. Philosophy went from committing to more win now to a reset that included emphasizing younger players. But he says there's no reason that he can't be back in a very good position next season. And of course,
didn't completely shut down the idea of thank you, PJ, appreciate it.
John Swenson, thank you very much.
Yeah, and so just going back to it, I mean, he didn't rule out the Sharks, playing their hardest to get into the playoffs this year. I think, like I said before, that's a game by game situation. We'll take it as it comes. But I thought it was pretty interesting. He went back to the 9 players that he drafted. He went back to his normal, if I can find a player that fits now into the future, that he was still open to that. And really, he looked. I mean, Erik, the thing that kind of shocked me the most was he looked very tired, and you could just see that this team has gone through a lot this season. I think it's insofar as logistics for a team with travel and with playing situations, you got to feel for this team.
You feel for this team. Granted, yes, they had some slight differences because of the whole camp in Arizona, but at the same time, it's tough to say that you had everybody do the same thing. Yes, they had camp in Arizona. Yes, they went on a 12-game road trip, but those shouldn't be used as excuses at this point. This is what they need to do. This is what they had to do. And yeah, that is tough to be away from family and everything. I think I heard one time that Devan Dubnyk hadn't even, set up his house in the Bay Area, and to the point where his family said, screw it, we're just going to stay up in Minnesota for the year. You just do your thing. And that's tough. That's really tough. But at the same time though, there wasn't a whole lot that was done to this team. I mean, Ryan Donato, yes, he was one, but however, now he's on a 17-game schneid. and hasn't sniffed the shootout yet. The tougher thing is that that's a good player that I think we saw. We're starting to see the players that we thought we might see last year come and make a difference. And you see the likes of Leonard, Shimolovsky, Handemark tonight, getting Rudolph Balcers back, and
Chekovich coming back from the K.
Yeah, and Chekovich is on his way back from Russia from the KHL. It's going to be tough. And you know what? I think a lot of fans, and we've seen it in the chat, Landy, I think a lot of people are ready to finally accept, let's build this around. We had a terrific run. I mean, shoot, essentially the time from 2003 to 2019 was our window. And how many and I would think Doug Wilson kept that window open for probably close to maybe 8 to 10 years longer than some people were saying. I remember in 2009 when the Ducks eliminated the Sharks. It's like, okay, you got to get rid of Nabby. You got to get rid of Jumbo. You got to get rid of Patty. And look what happened. They just tried to find that other spot, and they didn't get the big shiny thing, but now you got to get going and get this thing back together. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be tough. There's going to be some pain. Not to steal Mike Babcock's thing in Toronto, but it's going to be a tough one.
I mean, really, the era of Thornton and Pavelski is in the books, and you turn the page. Whether or not we were ready for that, debatable, but you've got to have the next generation of players step up. You've got to also replenish the system and really get guys the time to develop. You want to reward young players when they do well. You want to be able to teach young players when they have times that that they need to kind of recover their game, True and Blickfield, of course, going back down, but also a Noah Gregor, getting some time to kind of figure out his game. And so the thing to me that I wanted to see this year was growth, growth in the young players, because I was kind of, you could read the tea leaves on where this team was, so I have always said, let's take it a game at a time. Let's also see where we can grow and develop, and then just take in those little moments, those fun moments that are, like a Leonard scoring his first goal, or a Handemark scoring his first goal, or just those little milestones that you can pull out. I mean, for everybody asking, I don't think we're going to see very much activity for the Sharks insofar as trades or anything like that. Maybe they might take a piece off here or there, but to be quite honest, I mean, I don't even think Patrick Marleau really cares about moving on somewhere else, to be quite honest with you. I think once he breaks the record, I have a feeling that that's probably going to be his last. It was his last season. I love the fact that he's been such a competitor and such a great Shark. But this year, I think has really shown that I think it's time. I think it's time. And it sucks to say that, because, I mean, of course, me and Erik, it's pretty well known that we're both Patrick Marleau lovers here. Yep. And, I would say that he's a Hall of Famer, especially with the stints in Toronto, getting him a little bit more coverage. Right. On games played alone, kind of like if the NHL had an analogous to the Veterans Committee that brings somebody in, but not a first ballot kind of guy, but a guy that is like, okay,
that'll eventually
he probably, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with him. And also too, once he kind of breaks that record, I'd like to see maybe another young player getting a chance to play in that position,
Well, the tough thing about that, though, is he still has his Ironman streak going. Unless he comes back for another season, that one won't be broken. So we'll see about that. But I don't know if that'll happen in San Jose or not. So we'll see. John with the super chat donation again. Thank you. Once we are back to normal, can we plan an awesome Sharks get together? Oh yeah, you know it. I mean, was about in fact I think it was a couple of days ago. I think I put on my Instagram that we had our, I think it was like 2 years ago, we had the Teal Town USA Day at the Tank. I know Landi, you weren't able to make it up there then, but I mean 5 years ago you came up and we had the tweet up and we got to tour the arena with a bunch of our fellow fans. And it's stuff like that that I love. It absolutely is. It's been a year since everything went down. In fact, Landy, you and me, I think, along with Ian and AJ, were on as we found out this night last year that the NHL was going on pause, along with NBA and along with a lot of other things. And
it's been just a second on reflecting on, and I think it's been um, a year of a lot of extremes. I think we're all learning to live, with uncertainty. And I think we've also started to become used to the isolation a little bit, and just kind of used to those sad and unhappy kinds of feelings, because we've all been kind of cooped up. And not only that, but when you coop large large gatherings of people together, you're going to get friction. I think a lot of people's mental health has definitely taken a shot. So, I know one of the first things that I want to do is grab beers with all my fellow Sharks fans, and roam the halls of the Tank, and just really taking that experience, getting that Lavix after the game, or going to Nick the Greek, or going to San Pedro before the game. There's just it's a beautiful and weird and awesome community. I think when you are repping the teal and part of the tribe, you do really feel it, and you really do see the appreciation from all your other fellow fans. But we do give rubbings to those of us who aren't with our tribe, and I think we hang with most of the league insofar as rowdiness factor goes.
Right.
But again, I mean, those are the kinds of camaraderie and the kinds of things that we've missed for a long time. So it'll be good to, like I said, to get back out there, and let's keep the positive momentum going.
Yep.
And I just can't say how excited I am to getting back out there, and just talking to everybody. The one thing I will say, just to end on all this, is don't be afraid to go back out there and to intermingle in real life, because if you stay tucked in your corner, I think you're just robbing yourself of some really, really good some really, really good mental health being out there with your fellow fans.
Yeah, and I look forward to that. I mean, I got my first vaccine shot on Monday. I am fortunate to have that, and hopefully everybody will be on their way soon. And again, I know the Sharks have used this, but I first came up with Teal together, it's honestly, it's more than just a little slogan. It means a lot when we Teal together. It's something special, and I can't wait to Teal together with everybody very, very soon.
You just saw how much we were chomping at the bit when we didn't have hockey. It was like, oh my God, when are we going to get back to our friends? When are we going to talk about the game that we love, and have everybody congregate to talk about this team?
Yeah. Moving along, because we are running long. Well, like AJ says on the Technologists, we're going to tell their affiliates we are running long tonight. Josh D's with the super chat donation. I was in Dallas for that game when it was canceled. It sucked. I had to look at the Delt all weekend from our Airbnb. That sucks. That's a bummer. And I know there's a lot of Sharks fans, that make that trip to Dallas. Oh, jeez. And Laurel, you're right. We lost Mike Nevis 2 years ago on the 10th. Yeah,
Oh,
March. Yeah, we love you, Mike. We
one of
miss
the
you, bud.
one of the OGs, one of the
Yeah,
OGs.
yeah, definitely. So we hit the 40. We hit the 40 like mark. So yes. So we'll do a quick wraparound. In fact, we'll even get you caught up on the Barracuda in a sec, but we'll go through the scores really quickly. Golden Knights win 5-4. Riley Smith with the game-winning goal in overtime. Bennington not off to a great start after signing a 6-year, $36 million deal to keep him in St. Louis. The Wild shut out the Coyotes 4-0. Talbot this time with the shutout, and Kaprizov with a hat trick in this one. I think he's got the Calder wrapped up, don't you think? uh,
And
in
the winner is Kirill Kaprizov.
Right. Kirill the Thrill, I think they're calling it. How dare you? That's an insult to Will Clark. In Edmonton, the Oilers win 6-2 over the Ottawa Senators. In this one, McDavid, Barry, Nurse, Draisaitl, Ennis, Haas, and they all got the victory there. Mike Smith with the victory in net for the Oilers as they try to challenge the Leafs, who just seem like they are a juggernaut. If you ask Mike Johnston from Sportsnet. The Avalanche shut out the LA Kings 2-0. Rantanen and McKinnon with the game-winning goals in that one. And that is it. Do we? And this is the one thing. This is a first, folks. This is a first from Kevin Lacey of all people. The show is going so well. Do we have to talk about the Barracuda? Sadly, you know what? I know, but
ooh, Barracuda.
Sadly, we do have to talk about the Barracuda because they play tonight in Bakersfield against the Condors, and well, it didn't go well, folks. The Barracuda lose 4-1 in this one. They go to 5-4-2-0 on this season. Alex True with the only goal for your Barracuda on this night, and you know Jay Woodcroft has that team going in Bakersfield. That's for darn sure. But Alexei Melnichuk, 18 saves on 22 shots, a rough one there, and that's why we're not ready to rush Melnichuk up. So there's that. Super chat. Okay, fine. You hit 43 likes. I think it's more than deserving to say it. I demand you say it right.
All right.
Reach around.
Well,
there you go.
We'll give you the quickie reach around. All right.
Yes, there you go.
Just a quickie.
Yes. So there's your reach around for that. Again, the Sharks will be back on the ice tomorrow Saturday if you're watching this, outside the Central and Eastern time zones. Marty, yes, thank you for mentioning that. Ozzy Weisblatt had a nice night for the Prince Albert Raiders as the Western Hockey League gets going again. So I think it was a 2-point night for Ozzy, and so let's hope he keeps that going, and we'll get him on there. So there you go on that one. So let's bring this to a wrap. In case you missed anything, when you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Please tell a friend. It really goes a long way, and we really appreciate it. SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio. I think we're going to try to get radio.com added onto this as well. And, of course, always available at tealtownusa.com. Landi, as always, appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for helping us out tonight. Your final thoughts and where the people can find you.
Final thoughts. Okay, let's keep the positive mojo going. Let's have a good first period, establish the game tomorrow night early so that you're not chasing the game and you're not worrying about the gas left in the tank. Get those third and fourth liners some more minutes to kind of conserve them for Vegas. And as far as where you can find me on all of the social media garbage that is using my first name, Erik with a K, Landi, Landi. And yeah, also check me out on the Genuine Draft, doing some cool stuff over there, repping the Teal Town and bringing the Sharks content to the friendly gentleman that is Ro over there.
Yep. Absolutely, Ro's awesome. I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. We'll be back with you tomorrow or Saturday, wherever you're watching this, following Sharks and Ducks. And then, of course, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We hope it's fun because, fun must be always, especially when you're visiting the happiest place on earth. Even if you can't have a churro and lobster nachos. That's all I'm saying. So, for Erik, I'm Erik. You have a good night, and until tomorrow, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you Saturday night.